This is Marsha LaRue with Forward Motion in a series of videos on how to find opportunities during and after COVID-19. This is part 2 on the supply and demand of the market for jobs. In part 1, we talked about who is hiring and how to find opportunities. If you didn't catch that, you might want to go back and look at it. Today, this video is about supply and demand. So where to look, we discussed. Top tip number 1 in video 1. We check the news. Now we're looking at the news, not only for who's hiring, but what is the supply and demand part. So here's my top tip number 2. Check the news again, but prepare to jump industries. And people look at me and they shake their head and they say, prepare to jump industries, but I don't have experience in another industry. Well, here's a true story. A person in discount furniture supply. She was a supply chain manager. And what is she doing now? A planner and forecaster for a major state hospital. So let's go back during COVID, early COVID. What were the needs? Do these ring a bell? Face masks, ventilators, bodysuits. These were the needs. Hand sanitizers, gloves. What did I forget? I bet you remember. Oh yeah, that. Okay, so back to these needs. How were people responding? How were companies responding? What did they need to do this? So that takes us to who is hiring. Medically related needs and services at that time was huge. Gloves, face masks, and don't forget the hand sanitizer. So what happened? Check the news. This is what we need. Who's finding it? A Guilford company here in Connecticut was working round the clock to make ventilators. Matter of fact, they had to ramp up operations. And you say, I don't know how to make a ventilator. You don't have to, because they're hiring for the operations of the business. Anything that you may have done in manufacturing, even account management, things not related to manufacturing, supply fulfillment. All of those things were needed. Other companies in Connecticut, distilleries, started producing hand sanitizer. Hartford Flavor Company, hand sanitizers, spray and washing for the sanitization and surface cleaning. So watching the news and seeing, okay, they may need help, they may need my skill set. So here's some places of where to look, and this continues today. Hospitals and medical facilities. So this is across the map. It doesn't matter if you have experience in hospitals or medical facilities. Can you educate people? Are you an educator? What about an account manager? What about a program manager or program assistant, administrative assistant, maybe somebody with quality and safety background? So we can see from this that it's all over the map. It's not about whether you have exact experience in this industry. They need people. I went into LinkedIn and I just put in hospital, Hartford County, Connecticut. And these are the kinds of jobs that came up. So where to look? We talked about medically related needs, services, hospitals, and medical facilities. But what else is going on in the news? Online and remote communications, online learning. We see this in schools, but we also see it in companies as people are working from home. So I went out, what are the best communication tools for remote teams? Because we know teams are now working remotely. Communication tools. What about the 9 best online collaboration tools for remote workers? Interesting. What has to happen? Maybe you've heard of Zoom. A lot of people are now using that as not a company name, but as a verb. Let's Zoom. Well, these are the top collaboration tools that came up, and Zoom was among them. What do you think? Likely, people that work at Zoom work remotely using Zoom. So here's some jobs and roles at Zoom. Business support, support operations, senior data analytics, federal tax lead, account executives for higher education. I bet Zoom is going like crazy in higher ed and also in small to medium businesses. Most of them are remote positions. So again, look at the news. understand what the need is, and then find out where to look for opportunities. Not surprising, Zoom's customer growth has skyrocketed. What about the digital classroom? Colleges and schools shut down. 11 digital education tools for teachers and students. Educational publishers, ed tech. This is huge and on the rise anyway, but COVID-19 has pushed it over the threshold with regard to need. And the needs doesn't matter if you have a background here. The needs are all over the map. Online tutors, monitors, and proctors, sure. But what about assistive technology support? Remote greeters and proctors? I bet a lot of people would qualify for that. And of course, at the top of the list, technology support coordinator, sales reps at the bottom of the list. So education publishers, ed tech, these are places to be looking. Remember early COVID that the payroll protection plans came out, and banks and lending companies were helping companies get through and keep payroll going. So just taking a look at new programs. I went to LinkedIn. Middletown is in the middle of Connecticut, a very small town. And I just looked at the word bank and found 720 jobs in a very small place. Loan jobs, using the word loan alone, brought over 540 jobs in a very small town. So the need was great as these places, these organizations, these companies were trying to process the loans. So what else? Shipping services and delivery services. And you're thinking, Marcia, I don't want to lift packages and take them to doors. Okay, I get that. But let's take a look. Think broadly. So package delivery driver might be kind of fun. UPS is hiring. Delivery managers, delivery leads, service delivery managers, educational consultants. Really? Yes. So again, it's across the map. These are places that are maxed out and need people. Packing materials engineering. So take a look. The funeral industry took a bump up during this time. And what are they looking for? Event planners, videographers, forensic technicians, answering service operators, cemetery family services associates. Again, what is the need? Who are they hiring? And prepare to jump industries. And you say, I don't have experience there. Okay. But I was working with a children's book writer and they had to close down. They taught children to read, but they did it in classrooms across the country at universities during the summer. When COVID hit, everything summer was closed down. They had to close shop. So this book writer and video producer, what happened to him? He became a technical writer for online employee learning modules for a health insurance company. He's writing the onboarding. He's in Northern California for a company that's in Texas. So he's a technical writer now. He works from home, incidentally. So these are some ideas of things that people have changed. You know, a retail supply chain manager became a planner and forecaster at a hospital. A luxury vacation marketer went into pharma project coordination. Children's book writer, online instructional designer for an insurance company. What do these have in common? The thing they have in common is that they changed industries to meet the supply and demand in the medical profession and the needs that are there now. So essential services, anything in the essential services are hiring. They know that as wave 2, wave 3 of coronavirus hit, they're still going to have needs. So with that in mind, take a look at the market, look at supply and demand, find out who is hiring, what are they hiring, and in the next video, we'll talk further about how to match those positions with your resume. Thank you. Marcia LaRue, Forward Motion. Join me for part 3, how do you shift industries?